I Tweak or mix this, you know. It sounds cold.
Where do you think we got it?
I'm a Man United fan. I'm not looking in front of me anymore. I'm looking more behind me because I don't. There's no way of bridging the gap to City or Tottenham. No, City or Liverpool. Sorry, even Tottenham. There's no way of bridging that gap. But I look at the teams behind us. West Ham could be in that category of being one of the teams behind us, and we just got beat by them. But a team like Leicester, I look at. If you looked at on paper the teams together, I think you take more players out of the Leicester team than you would the Man United team.
Because you know what?
Which is crazy.
Watching that West Ham Man United game, West Ham started the game as a home team. They started the game poorly.
It was awful. That game was awful.
And usually, what you see from the top teams is if anyone below their quality isn't up for it on the day, the top six take them straight away. You saw that at Chelsea, Wolves. Anyone below the quality of the top six, if they are lethargic and slow to get started, the top six take advantage of that. At the end of the day, you've got the better players. So you take advantage of that and you wipe the floor with them. But what I saw from Man United was a matching momentum. So West Ham were playing poorly, Man United matched them. West Ham playing poorly at home was a time for United to go, alright, it isn't what we think. Because you go away to West Ham, you think, this is going to be a tough game. West Ham didn't start well. And you expect Man United to start to play their way into it.
But I think people need to stop talking about Man United as Man United. Man United ain't Man United anymore. It pains me to say that we're not. You say Man United to take the game with a scruff of the neck. Who was on that pitch to do it? No one is on that pitch that's good enough to do it. Andres Pereira, shocking. McTominay, shocking. Matic, shocking. Mata, shocking. Rashford, shocking. James, shocking.
Yeah. You say
one of them.
Yeah.
What one? Of, six of them players.
Six of them players, and then you look at the six who
actually get into any other top six team out of them players.
And you look at the attacking players.
There ain't one.
And you look at, let's say, the midfield forward. You see West Ham's lineup: Declan Rice, Yarmolenko, Mark Noble, Pablo Fornals, Felipe Anderson, Haller. That is looking better than Manchester United's lineup.
I don't even want to lie. It probably cost more. If you think about it, Rashford was youth, McTominay was youth, Pereira youth. It probably cost more, which isn't anything because Man United spent money. But you then go back and you look at how Man United finished the game. You played Jesse Lingard up front because they have a striker on the bench.
I think,
and then you're playing a team at West Ham who have got a £45 million striker playing up front. It's like.
I think at Man United, it's time for people to start taking responsibility for their own actions instead of worrying about the people below them. For example, Woodward, since he's been there, has there been any improvement?
But any improvement, it's been a complete disaster.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, people want to blame the Glazers, they want to blame them, but when Alex Ferguson was there, it was fine.
But you can't talk about Alex Ferguson because he was a genius. He made
for me, okay, that's what I mean. For me, you can have the owners, but if they put the right people there to manage the club, then things will be fine.
I want to show you something actually. To show you how much of a genius that Sir Alex Ferguson was. So
what I will say, from Man United, I do expect to see better. And like what I heard Jamie Carragher say, you can't just say, oh, Man United, and expect them to turn up. At the end of the day, you have to look at what you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you've got is simply not good enough. You see it in a place of work. If someone's not good enough, you get rid of them. You need to replace. And I believe the recruitment is a massive thing.
It's the biggest part. It's the biggest part in a football club. It really is. And the whole problem with this is you've got a glorified accountant that is overruling 100%. Managers. You look at last season. This sums it up perfectly. Last season, Mourinho was sulking the whole pre-season because he wanted the centre back. He wanted Harry Maguire specifically. Wanted Harry Maguire, went to Ed Woodward and went, I want Harry Maguire. He looked at him, got quoted 60 million for it. He said, no, we're not dropping 60 million on a player that was bought 15 million the season before. So then what happens? This summer, they then go and buy him for 80. So you spent 20 million more, you've got the exact same player a year later. And you're the accountant, you're not a football man. You're not. You don't know nothing about football.
This is what I mean.
And you're overruling someone that's won Champions League, won Premier Leagues. Even though it didn't go well, You're still overruling someone that's had a whole career in football when you have had a whole career in the stock market. You're a fraud, you're an idiot.
This is what I mean by it matters who's in the places of authority. For example, like Jurgen Klopp said last night when he won the FIFA Manager of the Year. He said, as a manager, I'm only as good as my players are. And he went on and thanked Michael Edward, who is our sporting director, who does help him go out and get the players.
The difference there is sporting director. Yeah. Again, it's not just Ed Woodward. This way it is the Glazers, because at the end of the day, the Glazers make the decisions. And they're the one that got that idiot in charge of football-related stuff. So you look at the proper teams, you look at you, and you look at City. They have either a sporting director, or a chief exec, or someone where it's split up, where you've got the financial side of the club and the sporting side of the club. We, as a club, Man United, the biggest club in the world, have got an idiot running both at the same time. And he should be moved over to the financial side because he's the best at it. That's the one thing you give him credit for is, again, they just come out with Man United's turnover for the quarter, 615 million or something stupid like that, which don't come at a great time because you've just lost on the pitch and then you're coming out talking about the financial state of the club. But all it takes is for someone to come in who has an idea of football to run the football side of things.
What I will say is that sometimes people need to take responsibility, and maybe it's time for Ed Woodward to just walk, to be honest. Because you're seeing, allow someone else.
The guy
guy
went from being the financial operator of the club and he got promoted to being chief exec. He was already in the club when David Gill was there, but he was running the financial side of things. And now he's gone to chief exec and he's still doing that with someone under him, but now he's running the football side of things when he has no idea of football. And the guy is making the decisions on who we sign, when we sign them, if we sign them. You bring in a sporting director that even Salford have. They've got a sporting director. A club in League Two have got a sporting director that decides what players, because at the end of the day, and I agree with it to an extent, is when you have a sporting director and he decides who he comes in and brings the players in, that sporting director is going to be there for 5 years, 10 years. Managers aren't there. So when you're operating like we do, and we have a manager that comes in and tells the players that he wants, and then at the end of the day you've got this idiot having the final say, who says he can come but he can't. So then you've got players from one manager, players from another manager, players from another manager. Then the manager comes in and tries to group them all together. And then his own ideas come in, where he then wants to get rid of half of them because they don't fit his philosophy.
Yeah.
When you have a sporting director that runs the recruitment and brings in players that he thinks best suit the club for how the club wants to play, because again, what do people say about Solskjaer is that he's taken the club back to its roots and he's bringing young players through and he wants to play that Man United style of play that hasn't been played now for 7-8 years. Don't let your manager do that. If you want it to be a fabric of the club, then set up the club so it is that. Don't have some idiot that's at the top of the club then wanting to make all these different changes and want these different players in for different managers when he has no idea about football. Let him run the financial side because he's the best. And this is why you just said a minute ago, I think you said, don't blame the Glazers. Blame the Glazers because one, all they care about is money. They don't turn up to half the games. They don't care. And the reason why they don't care is we spoke about, didn't we, the finance in the Premier League. And you can finish first and get however much, but you could also finish sixth and there's only a 5 million, 10 million difference. Ed Woodward can make that up in a Chinese tyre sponsor.
But what I'm saying is, Ed Woodward is the one in charge. He's the one they've left to run the football club. So at the end of the day, the Glazers are there making their money, right? Ed Woodward's the one in charge. So he needs to take some responsibility. If he himself knows he cannot do this job, he's there every week watching the games, he needs to have a word.
The guy's ignorant, he thinks he can do the job.
This is the problem. So the people around him or him himself or Ollie needs to have a word. I think it's hard because Ollie's a bit of like...
a puppet?
Yeah, because you know, like when you're talking about Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Maguire being happy that they've got the job.
Yeah.
It's the same with Ollie. He's happy, he doesn't want to go and fight against the power and things like that. He needs to have a word. Because
that's the thing that annoys me the most is because again, he comes out after the game and he goes, We had chances.
And he said we're not too far off.
That annoys me the most out of anything. I want my manager to come out and say, they were all through today. We are shocking.
We were so far off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think football's now too big for a manager to manage everything. Like, he needs to solely be able to just focus on coaching the players. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, those players are not good enough to be coached. No. For example, I was watching Matic play. I was thinking, you have the defence not trusting the midfield, and then you've got the midfield not even wanting it.
I told you at the start of the season. What did I say before the season? The bits that were crying out of that team was an attacking midfielder, because that's where Jesse Lingard's playing and he's awful, can't play for Man United. He cannot be the starting attacking midfielder in a top 6 club, especially not Man United. And then you go to the midfield and you've got Matic in there that he's lost his legs completely. It's like he's running in mud. And I said to you, didn't I say before the season started, when we're playing pre-season, I said to you, they need someone in midfield and they need someone there. And then they come out and say, not the right players fit the right time. Shut up. You're not Liverpool, you're not Man City. You can't pick and choose what players you want when you're battling against Leicester now. You are battling for top 6, not even top 4 anymore. That's gone. That is gone. I've given up with that because that's not happening. Because there's going to be...
It would be a massive achievement if Man United do finish in the top 4.
How many more games like West Ham will happen?
Yeah, but
5,
what I will
6,
say,
7,
is that there's a lot of teams in that bracket, to be honest, that you're not too sure of if they are going to be able to get top 4. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and United are all fighting.
But them 3 are all more sure bets than Man United, 100%.
Yeah, you can say that, but you can't for sure. Let's wait to see what happens when Pogba and Martial are back, and let's see.
Again, 2 characters that you think, what Pogba's coming back, what Martial's coming back.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You can only keep the faith.
Nice.
You never know in football. Because I'm sorry, but if teams like Leicester can do what they're doing,